I'm Chris Erdmann, and this is Made of More, the show where we go beyond business to uncover real stories that shape entrepreneurs, leaders, and changemakers. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, we explore the pivotal moments, the adversity faced, the risks taken, and the resilience found along the way. This isn't just about what people have built, it's about who they've become. If you're ready for inspiration, practical insights, and stories that remind you that you too are made of more, you're in the right place. Welcome to the show, Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann. Today, I'm sitting here with a friend of mine and a business affiliate who happens to be the producer of Speaking Current, Made of More, and his name is JD Wyneken. JD, why don't you give yourself a proper introduction?
Okay, well, I was on your show. I was on your show not too long ago, and really enjoyed it. So thanks for having me back. Yes, back. I am the. I guess I'm one of the founders of Speaking Current, which is a podcast coaching and development and production company, and we are very proud to produce Made of More. And
thank you.
It's fun. You've been having great guests on, hearing great stories. Really getting ready to put this out there for a lot of people to access as a podcast and online. It's an exciting time for your show. And so happy to be back on again because I think we're going to have a little bit of a different episode today. Am I right about that?
Well, you had an idea. We have a little plot twist here. And
a
little switcheroo on what's happening.
Yeah. And just for listeners, what we're going to do today is we're going to flip the script a little bit. Instead of Chris interviewing me, today we're going to interview Chris. And let me tell you where this idea came from. As Chris's producer, one of the things that I have to learn really quickly is how he operates and what he's interested in and what his story is. And when Chris first came to me, and said, I want to do this show Made of More, you might remember my reaction was like, oh yeah, that's a good show idea. Let's hear from business people about what makes them tick, why they're so successful, how they define success, where they're going. What a great idea. And you've done a great job of that. There's one story though so far we haven't heard yet.
Sure.
And that's yours.
My story. Well, you haven't sent me any questions, so this is free flowing. I'm a little nervous of what you're going to ask me, but I'll give it my best shot.
Yeah, absolutely. No, because I don't think you're going to need a bunch of questions on this because you're going to be telling your own story.
All right.
So here's where we should start. Everybody knows you who's listening as the host of Made of More. What do you do in your larger life? Let's talk about the business that you run. You are a very, very active entrepreneur businessman. Tell everybody, if you're giving them an elevator speech, of what you do.
Well, I've scaled it back a little bit and focused a bit more, becoming more laser focused on what I want. Mm-hmm. I've come from various different types of businesses that I've been either affiliated with or helped start up and made successful, sold, and moved on. Most of them, which is in the real estate brokerage world, mm-hmm. is I've helped co-create a few really great companies. And sold them, and recently merged one into an umbrella company called EXP that was created here in Washington State. But what I do focus on in this genre of real estate are a few things. Right now, I work with commercial real estate, and more specifically, I do help people in a lot of different arenas of commercial because I've had quite a bit of experience, mm-hmm. luckily. But at this point in my life, I'm really focusing in on that multifamily commercial real estate. And that's anything 5 doors or more.
Okay.
Yeah. And so right now I'm working with a company where we've locked 3 commercial buildings under contract. And we've been allocating funds to finalize the purchase of these over the next 90 to 110 days here.
Wow.
And so I co-do that with other business partners. And then currently right now I'm taking a stab at building something. Started here on my own. I recently hired a really amazing project manager because what I've learned is you can't do it all. Mm. You can't do it all. And so this happens to be a multifamily property on a single family lot. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So it is considered multifamily. It's 3 units.
Okay.
And with the new zoning code changes that are coming, we're able, in a lot of areas in Washington State, not all areas. And so you just have to do your due diligence, but you could build 4 residences on one single family lot if your area conforms.
Oh, wow.
which is a big game changer.
Yeah, sounds like it. So it sounds like you're involved not just in the sales of existing, but you're also dabbling in creating these as well, building them and then selling them.
Well, we'll see if I sell it, but definitely building it. And then I think the best move in real estate is often to hold if you can, unless you know that you're going to transfer something over into another type of investment.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And all this stuff started about 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago in 2006.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
And largely in Washington State or anywhere else?
Yeah. All in Washington State, mostly all up and down the I-5 corridor. And I started my career in the little town called Bellingham, Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A big little town.
Yeah, big little town.
Yeah, north of Seattle. Okay. So I'm doing that for a while. So 20 years. That's
going in my 20th year. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a lot of expertise and a lot of lessons learned, I'm sure. What's kept you in it for 20 years?
It's funny because I actually didn't really know that I wanted to get into real estate until I became a dad, and I realized that I wanted some freedom from working the 9 to 5. Not that I work less than 40 hours a week, because probably tell you what, sometimes I probably work double that. And so what's kept me in? What's interesting about real estate. You can change your career several times over, is what I found, and stay in the same industry. So when I first started, I was selling residential homes only.
Okay.
Then I went into residential homes and vacant land. So a lot of my early on clients were builders and developers, and they were just picking up these onesie twosie single family lots, and that's what I started with. And eventually, just kept right off. The homes got more expensive. The commissions got bigger, and I thought about getting out of the business in 2008.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah.
It was about to be, probably one of the best Christmas, New Year's I've had in my entire career at that time, 2 years in. And I was fortunate to be a high producer, and really early on. And right when the market started crashing, started folding over, I had no idea. I was pretty young. It's 2006, still in my mid-20s.
Yeah, and relatively new to the industry.
Very new to the industry.
Yeah.
I was supposed to have 8 deals close, and some of them were going to be the biggest transactions of my career, and boom, they all fell apart.
Wow.
Day at a time, just days apart from one another. And I was really counting on those things. I was counting on paying my mortgage with it. I was counting on getting through the winter, and just had a lot of plans, but don't count your eggs before they're hatched.
Wow.
Or don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
Right, either one. Yeah, because that's a lot of scrambled eggs, right? With that. How did you handle that when that happened? Because that was a calamity for the entire industry. So how did you handle it? How did you end up staying in it?
Yeah, a lot of stress.
Sure.
A lot of stress, a lot of top ramen, a lot of, just basic foods for a few months there. But what I've learned is I'm always able to take care of myself. God gives us what we need. I'm always able to take care of myself. And so right away I saw that I could get by if I'm just trying.
Okay.
And the next thing is, I quickly learned, even though things felt like they were standing still, I was listening for signs. Back then, there was no YouTube, there was no podcasts.
Right.
I didn't know about any real estate coaches back then. Nobody told me. So I was, but I started getting phone calls from these guys that were like, "Hey, I want to make a lowball offer on a property," and I'm like, "There's no way they're going to go for it." But call after call, not that they were flooding in, they were just by happenstance, probably because I was still doing open houses. I was still marketing.
Okay.
Still talking to everybody that made eye contact with me. Not that I would solicit my business to them, but if they asked me what I did, you better believe I'd tell them what I did. And those turned into small little opportunities of chance. And there was a guy that kept wanting to make these lowball offers, and pretty soon I realized nobody's selling any homes. I'm not selling any homes, so I should give these ridiculous opportunities a chance. And I did, and eventually I closed my first deal after the crash.
Okay.
And let me tell you, this crash was bad because I was sitting in one of the most seasoned offices with some of the biggest hard hitters in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them were on suicide watch.
I bet.
Which I've never heard of before.
Mm.
And I'm like, is that a real thing? I would see there's 2 or 3 guys there that they were ready to retire.
Oh, man.
And they lost what I've heard is millions overnight.
Yeah.
And there's a couple that are still in the industry today. But it was realizing, going back to your question, how do I stay in, is I realized as a real estate broker, we're not totally dependent on the buyer exclusively. We're not totally dependent on the seller exclusively. No, it could be a bad market for one of them, but it's going to be a good market for the other.
Mm.
And so the makeup of the buyer just changed.
Sure.
The makeup of the buyer just changed. It turned into people that had cash or access to cash. And so when I closed that first deal, I had to be one of the very few or first people in my office that time. And I remember my managing broker said, "Chris, you got paid." I'm like, "Yeah." I thought I was in trouble. Yeah.
But you weren't.
Yeah, he grabbed my check and he grabbed it from me and he was running around the office with it saying, "Chris got paid."
Man.
Chris got paid. He's like, he's doing it. You guys can do it too.
Wow. So it's kind of a moment of light for everybody in the office as well.
I hope so, or a moment of something. But
Yeah.
for me, it was opened my eyes. I was like, wow, I'm not the only one really having this hard time.
Wow.
And it was probably a few months later until I closed my second one after that.
Okay. So what was the gap between the crash and your first one? Do you remember?
It felt like eternity.
bet.
But looking back, it was probably about 3 months.
Man.
Maybe a little less, but about 3 months.
Okay.
Mhm.
So then another few months after that for your second one.
Yeah.
So it was a slow climb back.
Yeah. And I was lucky. I had saved a little bit of money in the bank, just enough to get by on everything. But I was considering, man, maybe this is the time I pivot and do something else. But I just felt like that wasn't the right answer.
Okay.
I felt like I just had to dig my heels in and stick it out.
Well, it sounds like you had an experience of adjusting and recognizing you could look at something a little bit differently than what you're used to and still make it work.
Yeah. I had to dig deep, though.
I bet.
I had to dig deep. There was moments when I was alone and just wondering how I was going to make it. And, luckily I didn't miss a payment on my property.
Man.
So that I was very fortunate because there's a lot of my friends, colleagues, family members, acquaintances, past clients that were just letting go of payments at that time. And I was trying to let them know, like, you don't want to stop making payments on your main home.
Right.
Because this has got to turn sometime.
Right. So the short-term pain was very real, but keeping a longer view for yourself as well as for your clients.
Yeah.
That turned out to be true, right? Because the market recovered.
Oh, some of them were so thankful. Some of them are still thanking me every now and again today. They're like, "Chris, I would have let go of my house if you didn't encourage me to keep making those payments." And some of them didn't want to listen. They let go, and they lost it. And my reasoning is like, one, this will turn around one day. The other thing is like, your payment is probably just as much as what rent would be.
Yeah.
So just because you owe double what it's worth right now, does it really make sense? And so for the people that held on, their house eventually became double what they owed.
Right.
Or so on and so forth. So
yeah, they're going to be spending money one way or the other, right? Either on their house or on rent.
yeah.
So keep it where it belongs.
So
Kind of like staying in the market.
Yeah. So I was thankful that I had that wherewithal.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. What I appreciate about that story, Chris, is that it's a reminder that even in a high-flying, high-yield, high-margin industry like yours, you told a very human story about having to, where am I going to get my next set of groceries from? Where am I, how am I going to pay for my rent, or in this case, my mortgage, to keep a roof over my head? You had a daughter. How old was she when this happened?
Oh, shoot. Don't make me do the math
Oh,
right
okay.
now. But
Young, though.
Young, yeah.
Yeah. So still very much a dependent, right? So having to do that. It's an amazing thing. I think it's helpful because, sometimes people get this sense of people who are heavily involved in real estate, particularly commercial real estate, that you're high flying, and I'm sure, and there's clearly moments where it's like that. Yeah. But that's a human story I think everybody can relate to, being right on the edge of like, what do I do next? And you've been there. That must help you with your clients now, I would think.
It does. And, I just got to say, real estate is a feast or famine, can be a feast or famine business.
Sure.
Can be.
Sure. Wow. All right. So that sounds like an amazing moment to really kind of build the rest of our conversation around.
Okay.
So, because that shows me a couple of things about you. First, you're able to think on your feet. You're looking out for the best interests of your clients, and you can relate to their experience, right? And for the sake of the name of this show, you had to find out what you were made of.
Oh yeah.
In that moment.
Yeah. There was times, serious times of doubt, and I just had to be like, no, I can overcome this. I'm more than this. I don't want to get cheesy, but I'm made of more than this. What is happening right now.
Sure.
And all I have to do is persevere, dig deep, and find my support. And I did. I found my support. Some of my colleagues, we were able to share stories, share opportunities that were coming up. I could rely on some of my family. I remember my oldest brother John was always checking in on me. And then also, even though my daughter didn't know what was going on, she was also one of my biggest supports, because she was at that time the reason why I wanted to succeed so badly.
Right.
And so I didn't want to fail in front of this person.
Sure. And you wanted to provide for her.
And I wanted to provide, even though she didn't really know what was happening.
Right. Right.
I didn't want her to know.
Man, is it fair to say that whole thing was a formative experience in your career and your life? It sure sounds like it. 2008.
Yeah, it is a formative experience. I realized from that time that if you believe enough, and if you dig in enough, and you have enough grit and wherewithal, you can make it through most things. And I truly believe that. I think we as people can make it through most everything if we get connected with our internal resources and our external resources.
I like that. Internal and external. I talk about it quite a bit, right? Okay. That internal resilience, as well as having, you mentioned the right word, support, right? You have to have people who know what's going on with you, people who are backing you up.
Yeah. And that could be simply as like a hug.
Yeah.
You could do it. Just some family time, some laughing, that can turn a lot of things around for most people.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. Well, I know I've got a ton of questions. I want to know where a lot of this stuff came from, right? So I'm guessing we're coming up on a break here pretty soon. So you feel like taking a quick breather?
Sure.
And coming back, and let's go back in time, go into the Wayback Machine and talk about you growing up and see where this whole approach came from. How's that sound?
Yeah, when we get back from the break. So again, you're listening to the show Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann, and today JD Wyneken is the one interviewing. So tune back in here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW.
I'm Chris Erdmann. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to discover remarkable stories of resilience and cultural connection? This is Diaspora, a show sharing the journeys of first-generation immigrants from the Indian subcontinent now building their lives in North America. Inspiring, insightful, and always engaging, Diaspora offers a unique perspective on the immigrant experience. Join me, Aditya Mehta, my guests, on the Diaspora Show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. right here on KKNW.
Tell your friends about Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to the show Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann. Or actually, your host today is JD Wyneken, my producer. We're here on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. So JD, take it away.
Absolutely. We decided that we really wanted to hear Chris's Made of More story. He's been doing such a great job of having his guests tell their Made of More story that we wanted to get to his. And Chris, I loved what you shared about the 2008 crash, your response to it. And let's go back in time, though, from there, right? People want to know, right, about where people come from. And you always ask your guests, where do they come from? Where did they get started? So if you had to tell us, sort of where your life starts and where this journey started to where you are now, what would you highlight from your early life?
Yeah, what a great question. Well, I'm one of 4 boys. Okay. My dad was a 30-year Navy veteran. My mom was a lovely, lovely mom. She was born and raised in the Philippines. And my dad met her when he was overseas.
Oh, when he was stationed there?
Yeah, when he was stationed there.
Okay.
Yeah. Two of my oldest brothers were born in the Philippines, and then I was born here in the U.S. 1978.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I grew up with a military father, so tough love, really, really ingrained being tough as a kid into me, and a mom that was really resourceful. She was very creative. My dad was a great provider, and my mom's could make a meal out of anything. Or she had made our costumes, and she was just a really creative woman.
Okay.
They both loved us. Sometimes it was tough love a lot of the time. But I grew up in a small town up north, and so I was probably one of the few ethnic looking kids and stuff, and that helped shape me too.
Okay.
And so that taught me a little bit about being tough and just being resilient, and that you could really make friends and do anything anywhere. But one of my most positively impactful experiences was in the 4th grade. I had a teacher named by the name of Mr. Sondale, and I was a pretty quiet kid up until then. Maybe I was still quiet after that, but pretty quiet. I kept myself. Wasn't really excelling in class, and it wasn't until I got this teacher, and he was very different from the rest. He was friendly. He made learning fun. And I went from being an underperformer in school to all of a sudden doing 9th and 10th grade math.
Oh, wow.
And everybody was really surprised. And I went from, just being okay at art to being becoming really great at drawing and painting, and just being able to draw like human faces, almost pretty realistic especially for a 4th grader. My parents were completely shocked, and I would have to say the reason why I excelled so much and that he was so impactful is I realized what somebody that made something fun and kind, how it can make people really want to get out of their shell and blossom and push. And then he also created systems for us that we could understand.
Okay.
So one of the things that was really impactful was he had all these math problems, math sheets, and you can do them at your own will. But in return for doing them, he'd give you play money.
Oh, wow.
Basically, almost like Monopoly money. So,
okay.
And every month he would host this an auction, and so I would just go to town on doing all these math problems and turning them in and whatnot. And so he's turning the shy kid into somebody that knew that he could go out and outperform people
and make money.
Yeah. And so I was so really excited. Sometimes I'd be one of the top tier people with some money, and some months I just did all right. But he taught me that I could outwork most people.
Wow. So what kinds of things could you buy at the end of the month?
Yeah. What could I buy? Probably stickers, marbles.
Gotcha.
Probably action figures.
Very cool.
I remember those toy airplanes that you have to assemble.
Oh yeah, like the balsa wood ones.
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah, you're into airplanes.
Oh yeah,
I really enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite things to get. Yeah,
man, Isn't it amazing how a teacher or an individual who just sees you, approaches you a little bit differently, sees that a certain thing you may not be tapping into your potential entirely.
Yeah,
finds a different some systems you mentioned, some methods to open you up. So it sounds like, if you remember his name. Right.
Yeah.
I have my own teachers that way.
Yeah.
Right? The same ones. They have a huge impact. How has that influenced you beyond what you've just mentioned? I mean, in terms of his approach to you, I know you're a pretty empathetic guy. You genuinely enjoy conversations with people. It sounds like maybe you've picked up on some more of that, the ability to see people kind of like he did. Do you associate that with him, or does that come later in your life?
I don't know if he taught me how to be empathetic towards people, but he definitely taught me how to have a bit more fun and try and go out there and roll your sleeves up and get things done.
Nice.
My ability, my empathetic side, I think a lot of empaths become empaths because maybe they experience things over their life. So
sure.
Maybe more than once, but maybe just throughout life that they experience things and they experience their feelings, and they're aware of their own feelings, so they can possibly spot other people's. I'm no expert at that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my my answer.
No, that's a good one. And I think that's an ongoing mystery, but certainly for you, something unlocked at that point. So after that, moving forward in life, right? When you started thinking about what it is you wanted to do, right? Where you wanted to go, kind of coming out of school, what was going on with you at the time? What was the next stage of you getting to where you are now?
Well, I do have to do another shout out, even though he's not around. Mr. Pugh was another guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he was another teacher that.
All right, Mr. Pugh.
Yeah.
Nice job, Mr. Pugh.
That's right, Mr. Pugh. One of the things my dad taught us how to do, and even my mom, is how to work hard. Just get in there and get it done. And there's no excuses. And so that really shaped me. I got into the construction field pretty early.
Okay.
I got in the construction field as I was in high school. But one of my buddy's dads owned a construction company, and it was concrete at that time. And I just wanted to hang out with my friends.
Sure.
Sure.
Make some money while doing it. Sure.
Yeah. It's nothing that I really wanted to do, but I'm like, I'll give it a try. And early on, at age 19, he had me running crews of grown men.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't the easiest for this 19-year-old kid to start running crews of like 30, 40, 50-year-old guys, putting foundations and stuff up in the ground.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like, it was kind of blowing my mind away. In fact, it blew some of their minds away, and not in a good way.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. He must have seen something. I mean, obviously, to put you in that position at 19 years old, you must have been, even though you were hanging out with your friends, you must have been pretty good at this.
Yeah, I would say, looking back, I was pretty decent. Probably better than I gained some skills that he thought he could grow. And rewinding a little bit, I was also a father at 16.
Oh wow!
And so I was right away. I already had this passion inside of me to do something more. And the first level of that was, hey, just to make sure that I raised this girl to feel secure, loved, and provided for. And so that was always my number one from day one. And that's why then I started trying to figure out what I should be doing next.
Okay.
After that, I was going to community college and whatnot, and ended up applying for a job at a metal fab shop, and they weren't hiring, but I convinced them to hire me. Yeah.
So you did a sell job on yourself.
Yeah. I just convinced them. I said I didn't really know how to weld. I had a welding shop, didn't know how to weld. But I said, I know how to read blueprints, and I'm out here and I'm working with guys showing them what to do, or trying to lead these guys on building these structures and whatnot. And so this guy George, he took me on, and he taught me everything that I knew about metal fabrication. We used to build some really ornate, cool things, and even a lot of some of the bigger stuff was for high-rise buildings. We'd build the steel that got delivered out there.
Oh wow!
But some of the other things I've built with my team out there, like really interesting. Like I don't know, there used to be this TV show. They used to make like monster machines, or do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah, they used to make all these ornate metal structures out of cars. We did some cool stuff for trailers and making custom camping trailers and things like that.
Right.
To like beautiful stairways that were like ornate and just winding and things like that.
Man.
And everything between. I knew this wasn't my forever job. It was just something that I was doing in my young 20s as I was going to school. And eventually from there, I landed a job where I thought I wanted to be a project manager for a big corporation, like a construction corporation.
Okay.
And I did that. And, I did pretty well for them. And, but then I realized I was just going to be stuck behind a desk. And for my personality, there's nothing wrong with that. But for my personality, it just didn't work.
Yeah. You are a mover. That's a word I would use to describe you. You like to move. You like to be going from one point to another. I can see that. And this helps explain for me, like you do like to be out and about, working with your hands, kind of getting your hands dirty, and by being out in the field.
Sure.
Sounds like, yeah. Okay. So how old were you when you realized you didn't want to be stuck behind a desk?
Oh, it was right before I got into real estate. So I was about 24-ish years old.
So about a 5-year experience of leading these crews of guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, I was also being led too. Like I was being taught. So, yeah. And then after that, I got my real estate license, and, I just didn't want to miss out on my daughter's plays or her games and things like that. And that was a really big deal to me. And there's been times it's been hard to make it because of the workload. And not that it got a lot easier when I got into real estate, but I was able to afford moving my schedule around.
Yeah, a little more flexibility. A little more flexibility. Okay. Yeah. What kind of sports and plays was she a part of?
Oh, she just loved being in play, the school plays and whatnot, the singing, and she was a big swimmer all through since she was a baby all through high school. She got into cheer, so cheer, swimming, and musicals is what she liked to do.
Man.
Yeah.
So you spent a lot of time on hard bleachers.
Yeah.
And uncomfortable theater seats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taking videos and snapshots, that type of thing.
Yeah, as a young father, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Very fun, very fun. And that, I know that is still a motivation for you, right? Even though your daughter's now grown and, she's doing well.
Yeah.
That kind of drive, I can see that in how you do things. So, all right, so you got your real estate license. You moved in that direction. Sure. And within just a couple of years, you face not only the biggest challenge of your early career, but you mentioned earlier some people who've been doing this on the verge of retirement. So they've been doing this for 3 decades.
Sure.
The worst thing they've ever seen.
Yeah. As far as I understood it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So, but we made it through that.
You did. So as things began to rebound, you said you'd started in residential real estate. Did you shifted into more commercial on the other side of the crisis, or did that come a little later?
That came a little later. So I still really had, and I still do. I still love residential. It's great. In fact, it's the reason why a lot of people in America are able to get ahead these days. Is by equity and using that equity to do something more with their life. But it wasn't till years later that I started doing a little bit more commercial, and commercial real estate more happened at that time by chance. Friend wanted to sell like a building or a multifamily property or buy one. And then the opportunities started becoming, more and more, until eventually, about 10 years ago, just decided to do a bit more of it and taking more classes on it and whatnot. And so, even right now, I work with a lot of retail. I have a lot of retail listings that I'm working on right now.
Sure.
I got a 60,000 square foot building of office and retail, another 32,000 of waterfront retail that I've been working on.
Gotcha.
So I can do a bit of everything, but I got to say, I'm definitely really passionate about that multifamily sector.
Is that, and why is that? What's the passion for that?
It's been a really great vehicle. I've been able to witness a lot of success stories over the years with clients that have owned it, older mentors that have owned it, and now people of all ages around me on either side of where I'm laying today. And it's one of the things that I've been interested in is I got involved with this group that they put together syndications and whatnot, and I met them by chance when I ended up getting a place down in Bellevue, and I got a nice introduction from one of my buddies, Tommy, and he said, "Hey man, I think that you're gonna really do well meeting these guys. You guys have something in common." And we found out we did, Man. And me and a few friends ended up helping them purchase one of the properties. It's a 21-unit building in Magnolia area of Seattle. And so we're just became small co-buyers of that. And that was another yet step in the direction of multifamily. I'm like, well, I really, really enjoy this because there's several ways that people can experience financial freedom or an inch their way towards there, whether you're doing co-ownership, something through syndication, or just owning the whole thing yourself. And you're giving people housing. Yeah. You're giving people homes, and we've been in a housing shortage for some time now. Yeah. And so to work with groups that not only do good management, it's important. Like out here, he's got an amazing management company. I really look up to these people that own these management companies that are doing something good for the tenants. Nice.
Yeah, there's a real spirit to it for you, I know, of helping people out. I know that's a big part of your mission.
But the other thing, like I said, is that financial freedom portion of it. It's absolutely. The more free that we can become financially, the better off it comes back around. You could live the life that you want and help people more.
Gotcha. Right? All right. Well, this is great because it gives me even more questions, but I think we're at a spot where we might need another break.
All right. Well, this is the show Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann, or today the host is JD Wyneken, and you're listening to 1150 AM KKNW.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hello, I'm Chris Erdmann. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, I sit down with inspiring entrepreneurs, creative minds, and game changers to uncover the real stories behind their business. On my show, Made of More, we explore the challenges that they've overcome, the breakthroughs that they've celebrated, and the mindset that drives them forward. If you're ready to unlock your full entrepreneurial potential, Made of More is the show for you, because here we know you are made of more. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW.
Alternative Talk 1150, the talk of the sound.
Welcome back to the show Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann, and I'm sitting here with the host for today, since he's interviewing me, Mr. or Dr. JD Wyneken from the bench, or from Speaking Currently, who's also the producer.
Yeah, absolutely. The proud producer of this show.
And let's not forget, we're on 1150 AM KKNW.
Absolutely. And thanks to them for all the support. Great stuff, Chris. And thanks for sharing so much about what makes you more than just the image, right? I know it's such an important thing to you. Right?
I don't know what kind of image I am, but
well, it's a good one. But I think we love to hear more stories about what makes people tick, right? And you've had a very interesting life. You've had a very interesting career. And, there's so much more to many places we could go, but we only have such a, small amount of time.
Sure.
So in the time we have left, with what you're doing now, you said you've kind of laser focused down a little bit more. You're liking this multifamily commercial kind of space, and it not only gives people housing, which they need, but opportunities to gain more financial freedom and more, to kind of live lives more along the lines that they want to live.
Yeah, on your terms. Hopefully.
Absolutely. And I know that's how you're living too. So you're not just doing this for others, you're also doing this for yourself, and it's kind of a symbiotic relationship that way.
Yeah.
So going forward, right? What are you hoping to do next? Like, what are you looking for in this? What goals have you set for yourself in your business, both short-term and long-term, besides just saying being financially successful?
Yeah. One of the things is what's happening right now. I would love to look back and be like, wow, I built this house, this 3-unit property, and have it cash flowing.
Sure.
That's going to feel good to see a custom project get completed, and I hope to do it again in the near future.
Okay.
So I'd like, once it's done, I'd like to identify another single a piece of property and do it again.
Okay. So you found that you really enjoyed that, kind of tapping into your old construction roots. Sounds like.
Yeah, there's something cool about working with the architect and getting a vision out there together. And then I think it's going to be a good feeling of satisfaction of looking backwards and being like, wow, it's operating.
Nice.
You know? And then on the multifamily is continue to meet and get to know other multifamily owners or investors and hear their stories and figure out how to help them on a deep level. So just not just through buying or selling, but just there's a lot of nuances through multifamily, and a lot of it does come down to numbers at the end of the day, but a lot of it comes to knowledge about the marketplace.
Sure. I would think that too, developing trusting relationships with partners in your firms and your companies or other investors would be absolutely vital in the line of work you're in. You're talking about a lot of dollars and cents changing hands.
Yeah, and just being good at what I do. And things are always changing. And I think one of the things that I just want to look back on my life is, did I do my best? And if I could, on my deathbed, and look back at different areas of my life and know that I did my best, that's gonna be one indicator that I led a successful life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and that leads to two questions that I think are related. First one will be probably the easier of the two to answer. What are the things that you do well, that you know you do well right now, that you think are real cornerstones to why you're successful in your field?
Sure. Yeah. One thing, one of my business affiliates, Stacy, she tells me, she's like, Chris, you're really good if you focus on a couple of things, and she's always right. And I hate to say that,
as opposed to many.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's finding opportunities and connecting people to those opportunities.
Okay.
And it's just not finding opportunities, finding good opportunities for exactly what that person is looking at. And I could look back, and where I get the most energy and the most joy is really connecting people together with that right opportunity. And sometimes in my field, it's connecting two people together to get something done and watching the synergy happen, or it's me connecting that particular investor or that investment group with that right piece of property and meeting or exceeding their needs.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so that sounds like your wheelhouse, right? Those things. So, and your networking skills, I know, are also very good. It's one reason why you're doing this show. Right?
Yeah, I do love to network.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I love getting and being around that energy of other entrepreneurs that like to get things done.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hence why you're always interested in hearing their stories on
That's
shows.
why
like
I
this
love
one.
hearing their stories. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Okay, so here's the second question that might be a little more challenging. What are the areas that you would like to do better in, or grow in, or improve upon? You pick your own language.
Yeah, is that in life in general?
In general or in business, wherever.
Yeah, one thing that's been a lifelong battle for me is fitness and health. And I think for me at this stage, being in my mid 40s, I want to try to be in the best shape of my life. Mm-hmm. And it's tough because I tell you what, I'm a foodie. I love food. Yeah. I could eat more than most of my friends. But it's trying to get into the gym or mountain biking or hiking, doing something daily. Okay. And I feel a couple reasons that I feel like this is really important to me is I feel like if my physical and mental and spiritual health, but right now we're talking about physical, if my physical health is at its peak of where I can be, I feel like I have more energy. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's easy with that energy. It's easier for me to connect with more people. Yeah. And I get more creative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so just connecting, more creativity, and I'm gonna find more opportunities, and I'm gonna have a lot more fun doing it.
Absolutely. Well, and it's a cliche, but if you don't have your health, everything else suffers. Yeah. Right. Makes it tough. It is a baseline responsibility. So yeah, I can relate to that as well. The good news is, you can be in your early 50s like me and be in the best shape of your life.
That's true. Yeah, it's never too late.
Never too late. Okay, so that's an area for improvement. So now you've got a lot of experience in business. You've had a lot of experience in life. You've been a father for a long time now. Mm-hmm. You've had time to take a look back.
30 years.
And yeah, you've had a long time to look back and go, okay, these are the lessons in life. Here are the things that matter to me. Here are the things that don't matter to me. Sometimes those can be just as important as the things that do. Mm-hmm. In the spirit of this show, when you think about success for yourself first, what does that look like for you? And then what would you recommend to any listeners about how they can find their own definition of success?
Well, I mean, this is probably one of the hardest questions for me to answer. I think that there's a little formula that I definitely like to think about when it comes to success. Okay. Is actions and my personal values. Okay. And so do my actions meet or exceed my personal values? And so I can't answer this in a way for everybody's success.
Of course.
But for me, it's first it's trying to understand my values, because we're always kind of changing a bit as we get older. Like I used to I still love motorcycles, but I'm not as much of motorcycles as I was when I was like in my 20s, Sure. And so we're always evolving. So the level that success for me, I think, is always being open and honest with myself and what I want. And I'm finding at this point in my life is like I can look back and I've done a lot of things for other people and try to please other people or try to live up to other people's expectations. And not that I don't want to help other people, because it's obvious that I do.
Of course.
But success to me is digging in and finding out what actually makes me happy. And what actually is my North Star. Yeah. And sometimes it could be for that day. Or even more deeper. It could be for the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this time in my life, it's asking myself, what does Chris really want?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to ignite my internal energy and heart and soul, other than just pleasing somebody else and trying to live off, was that good enough for them?
That's a good awareness point to be a part of, because when I can relate to this, because as someone who also cares about helping other people and that type of thing, it can be easy to not prioritize yourself in that process, right? Or to give away too much at the expense of yourself. So it sounds like you're kind of weighing those things together. So I'll ask the question that you sort of just asked yourself. What does Chris want?
Yeah. What do I want? I want a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like just maybe a couple examples.
Yeah. For me, obviously a successful career.
Sure.
Looking back, knowing that I helped people, not just in the best that I could have, but to a degree that it was effective in the way that they wanted to experience it.
Okay.
Or more.
Okay.
So that's my work. For my health is just do daily practices.
Mm-hmm.
Never feeling I have to win something every day, but just take life in small bites. So I would define success in my health as trying to eat more healthy than not, trying to work out more days than not, and just trying to take care of my spiritual, health more days, or hopefully every day.
Yeah.
But as far as, what other area would you like to know what success?
I don't know. I mean, success is such an elusive term, right?
Am I being too vague?
No, not necessarily. I mean, because I don't think anybody who says they have a direct answer to this or a complete answer it's probably not true, right? I mean, because success can be defined as a lot of things. It can be defined as growth for some people. Some people see it as, to what degree am I have serenity in my life? To what degree do I have purpose? Do I have connection? Do I have family? It can look like different things. In some ways, you're asking the same question by saying, what does Chris want?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's perfectly okay to say, well, I know I want this here and I want this there, but I'm not sure on some other things.
Yeah. Another level of success would be, I want to travel. I love to travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing quite a bit this year.
Yeah.
And is visiting family
Mm-hmm.
in different parts of the world.
Okay. Is your family spread out all over the world?
In different parts of the world, definitely. I do have a bit of family in Germany that I've never met. It'd be cool to see if I could run into any of them, just to even like shake their hand,
Yeah.
But also Philippines, I've been there a couple times, and it's been really fulfilling to connect with them and experience the culture with my family, and share stories, laughter, and even sometimes cries, I guess.
Sure.
I have family in Malaysia. I've not been there yet.
Okay.
I'd like to go take a look at that.
Nice.
Visit over there. That'd be, if I could try to go to most countries that my family is in, I would say, wow, that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Be a high level of success.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's a place you've gone to that really surprised you at how much you liked it?
Oh, recently I went to Tulum, Mexico.
Okay.
And I ended up just going there for 5 days. I liked it so much. I went there to go check out a buddy of mine's property. Mm-hmm. He has a development property out there. And, that was only a few hours out of the trip. But it was enough to get me over there.
Nice.
And I was surprised how much I liked it. I ended up going back the next month for about 10 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did you like about it so much?
It was really, I felt like there was kind of that old world there. It was pretty chill. Obviously, it's a beach town. I love going on the beach. Both times there's a lot of seaweed there, and there was a lot of people there. Kind of, I felt like that were on a journey. And I took some yoga classes and stayed at some cool boutique hotels and met locals, and just got to know some people. And I thought that was pretty neat.
So you slowed down. It sounds like
I slowed down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I slowed down, and it was. I just got to say, it's just recharged. I was able to unplug.
Yeah.
From all the hustle.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that a strange feeling for you to unplug like that? Not necessarily a bad feeling, but a strange feeling?
It's not a strange feeling, but it can be because I do travel, and I'm able to unplug. But it's that feeling, the first day or just leaving. I could have a lot of anxiety trying to leave and slow down. What am I forgetting?
Right. Oh, yeah.
But once I'm there, I've gotten to the point to where I could relax pretty quick.
That's a skill.
Yeah.
That's a skill.
I go from 100 to 0 pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Now, how do you do with unplugging when you're here in the midst of your daily grind? How well do you unplug, and what does that look like?
Yeah. In my past, that's been that's been a big challenge. Unless I'm totally stressed out by something, it's pretty easy to unplug these days because I see the value in it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, I didn't see the value in it. I thought you always had to be on. That's kind of like the American thing. You always have to be going.
Yeah.
And even my friends from other countries, they make fun of us a little bit for not taking a break.
Mm-hmm.
But the more that I get out there and unplug, the more that I see it's a little easier to be more effective and even maybe more successful when you're back in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the quality of what you get out of it right, might reduce the quantity that you're in it.
Yeah.
But the quality really matters, particularly in the business you're in and also in kind of how you're wired and what you care about. You care about quality in your life.
Yeah, I do. I do care about quality, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I've gotten to the point where I can unplug pretty quickly and just kind of get on my mountain bike.
Nice.
Go mountain biking.
Yeah, you do that every weekend. I see all your posts on social media. You're always riding somewhere.
Actually, sometimes 5 days a week.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so in the time that we have left, just a couple minutes left on this very different edition of Made of More.
Sure.
What would you say to prospective listeners who might want to come on this show? Give them your invite. What do you want to hear?
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. For the prospective listener that's thinking about wanting to be on this show or telling their story, I think first of all, everybody has a story.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're just starting out, wanting to start, or whether you're in the middle of that career and you've had a lot of these ups and downs, or at the end. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to value, or most people are going to be able to get value from the story that you've experienced, your authentic story, because there's so many people, everybody in this world's at a different stage, and sometimes just you opening up and sharing your losses or your wins might land on somebody's ear at the right time to lift them up or to try something more. Mm-hmm. It might even be the opportunity for somebody to experience your business. Mm-hmm. It's an opportunity for awareness. It's to give back to yourself. That people could be like, oh, it's just this is one more channel on which people could be more aware of what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. So if you're the person that's listening out there and you're feeling like you want to do more or become more, or you just want more awareness, I'd be interested in talking to you.
Absolutely.
If you have that desire in there, or if you've taken some pretty big slugs in your life and you're like, something's calling on you, tugging on your heart that you feel like you need to share this. Maybe you're going to keep somebody else from stepping on a landmine.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that. I mean, this is a platform for everybody that's experienced something meaningful in their life, and especially more geared towards that business entrepreneur. It's your moment to share, and don't underestimate how powerful your story may be.
Awesome. Well said. And if you're interested in reaching out to Chris, check out the show notes for this episode and all his episodes, because all his contact information is there, and you can also find him on social media and on LinkedIn. Trust me, you look up his name, Chris Erdmann, you're going to find him. Chris, thanks you for letting me do this. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I hope
thanks.
you did too.
Yeah, thank you for just wanting to do this. I know
Absolutely.
we've been pushing this back for a little bit.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't so scary without the questions.
Good. I'm glad. Glad. Thanks.
All right. Well, you've been listening to the show Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdmann, and you've been listening to JD Wyneken of Speaking Currently. And if you have any questions, I want to ask you, how do they get a hold of you?
Oh, that's easy. You can reach out to me on my social media feeds. You can check out our show, Staying Power. That's available wherever you get your podcast. My co-host and I, Ashley Kniebel, do that. And that's the easiest way. You can also find out more about us at the show page, 1150 AM KKNW, for Staying Power as well as for Made of More. Easy to find.
Well, hey, I'm just so thankful that you took your time to do this. Thanks, JD.
Thank you. And thank you all the listeners out there.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Made of More on KKNW. Whether you're on the road, at the office, or listening from home, keep chasing what lights you up, keep building what matters, and never settle for less than the life you were made for. You are made of more. More purpose, more impact, more joy. Made of More is part of the Speaking Current network of shows and podcasts, all of which that are dedicated to inspiring listeners to build lives of meaning, connection, and value. You can find the Speaking Current network of shows, including Made of More, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us on YouTube. Until next Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, I'm Chris Erdmann. Stay bold, stay inspired, and stay made of more.